What's the best way to learn and the best way to teach? Games and puzzles. If the learning is fun, then you're going to remember it and you're going to want to do it. And if you've been following me for very long, you know I love games. Our family has been playing games together since the youngest was 4 years old. Family game night is a regular occurrence at the Peterson household. And even now that my boys are adults, we still play, and no holiday is complete without the cards or the game boards coming out. However, did you know that games can be a super valuable teaching tool? Children are naturally drawn to games and curious about them. This engaging approach to education can be a powerful secret weapon for parents seeking to foster their children's academic success and lifelong love of learning. Want tips on adding games and puzzles to family life? See my other article, because this post is going to explore using games specifically for education. Let's start with different types of games. There are two main types of gameplay. For those of you who cringe at the thought of family games because people get angry or feelings get hurt, pay close attention to the collaborative games. Collaboratives versus competition or competitive games. Collaborative games or cooperative games, these require all of the players benefits of collaborative games are enhancing communication skills, improving listening skills, boost critical thinking skills, and learn better compromising skills. Competitive games. When most people think of playing games, they immediately think of games that are competitive. In these games, there is a winner and there is a loser. If you have a younger or less skilled strategist, younger child or less skilled strategist, they will almost always lose, and this will almost always cause frustration. While there are benefits to competitive games, you may find that if you are looking for family games, you may enjoy the us approach much more. The benefits of competitive games are improved social skills and teamwork. Now that's an ideal benefit. Boosted self-esteem and confidence, if they eventually can learn how to win and everything. See, some of these I'm kind of like, are they really benefits? It depends on how that works out. Development of a growth mindset and mental toughness, enhanced cognitive skills, and intrinsic motivation. I have a list of our favorite games, both I wanted to establish that games all by themselves are very worthwhile. Now, if you scour the internet on games and homeschooling, you will almost always get articles about incorporating gameplay, like just playing games in your school time and why that's so beneficial. And it is. That absolutely is beneficial because of all the reasons I said that games are so important. However, almost no one talks about actually using games to reinforce what you're already teaching. That is a whole nother level, and that's where we're going to go. Children like games. When they are presented with schoolwork in a game format, children are much more engaged. They want to know, how do I play? How do I win? What is the goal? Very rarely do they get this excited or curious about a worksheet or a unit review. I came up with 6 ways you can use games or puzzles in your schoolroom. I also have examples that I came up with on how this would look. I then plugged all of this into ChatGPT expansion on these ideas. So some of these are my ideas, and I like to give credit. Some of these are from ChatGPT, but they should get your mind and creativity flowing so that you can then incorporate them even more. So number 1. Games and puzzles can serve as engaging tools to reinforce knowledge and ensure retention. Examples: create a trivia game with questions from a history or science unit. Use crossword puzzles to review vocabulary or key terms. Build a board game where players answer math problems to advance. The benefits: it encourages recall in a fun way and helps identify areas where more review might be needed. 2. Use games to culminate a unit. End a unit with a hands-on collaborative activity that synthesizes what students have learned. Examples: design an escape room. Oh, we just talked about this last week in our problem-solving workshops. So this is exactly what we were talking about last week. Be sure, I'm going to link that. Be sure to check into that. Design an escape room activity where solving puzzles requires and then the other card they would flip being the effect. Cause and effect is kind of a difficult concept for kids to get up until around 5th or 6th grade. So this is a great game all the way through 5th grade. Benefits: it reinforces learning while providing a sense of accomplishment and closure to the unit. Number 3, games can introduce a new unit or theme. Games and puzzles can spark curiosity and set the stage for all new learning. Examples: use a mystery solving game to introduce a detective theme literature unit. Or actually, you can expand that and you can create a detective literature theme puzzle about like a science thing you're going to study. Present a puzzle with clues created to a new topic, such as assembling a world map before starting a geography unit. Play a word search or unscramble the letters to reveal the name of the next unit. So that's just a mini puzzle, just to kind of unlock what you're going to do. Geography: have each room in your home be a different country, state, or whatever it is you're going to be teaching. And then before leaving one room, the child pulls a fact and learns something about the next place, about the place they're in before they go to the next place. Science: have a problem-solving workshop, there's a link, where a new science method or idea is introduced. Benefits: creates excitement and primes the student for the upcoming lessons by activating prior knowledge and introducing new key concepts. 4, use games to test knowledge in your homeschool room. Games and puzzles can provide an enjoyable way to assess what your kiddos have already learned, blending evaluation with engagement. Examples: the Jeopardy style quiz game. Everybody loves the Jeopardy style quiz game. From recent lessons to evaluate understanding in a fun and competitive format. If you are in, say, a learning a homeschool co-op or something, you can actually have the kids create those Jeopardy style questions, and then they can play with each other because they didn't do all of those questions, right? They just did some of them. Design a scavenger hunt where each clue requires answering a question related to the material studied, such as solving math problems or identifying facts from a history unit. Use flashcard games like Memory Match, where students pair questions with correct answers, or quiz cards, where they earn points for each correct response. Create a board game or card game, and the benefits: makes assessments feel less intimidating, encouraging honest responses, provides instant feedback in a non-threatening way, helps identify gaps in understanding while fostering collaboration and critical thinking, keeps students motivated and engaged, making the learning process much more enjoyable. I am almost done creating my masterpiece, Games and Puzzles to Learn 50 States and Capitals. You can see how students learn one state, how I've done this, and I chose Idaho, by grabbing all of these puzzles in the notes. So you can see how I taught learning through puzzles, and that'll be in the notes for you. Games and puzzles are a great reward once the work is completed. Incorporating games or puzzles as a reward can motivate students while still performing learning. Examples: offer a favorite logic game like Sudoku or math-based card game after completing assignments. Use a collaborative game such as charades or Pictionary tied to the day's theme. Provide access to online educational games or apps as an incentive. I'm going to take this a step further. When I taught my 6th graders, and I taught language arts and social studies, if we had time There was a card game that I taught them, and it didn't have a good name, so I think we called it Poop on Your Neighbor. But it was high strategy. And so it didn't have math, it didn't have any of those things, but the strategy and the critical thinking skills were so high, the kids would beg to play this game, and they loved it. We also played a game called Murder, and that was also a strategy and a game of elimination. So just by having these games on hand when we had extra time, the kids would be very attentive in the room because they knew that that would be used as a reward system, and they loved it. The benefits: it encourages productivity while ensuring downtime is still educational or beneficial. 6, even if you don't incorporate in these games into a unit, they are a way to build critical thinking, strategy, and logic skills. Games and puzzles are excellent tools for developing high-order thinking and problem-solving abilities. Examples: use strategy games like chess, checkers, or cooperative board games. Solve riddles, logic puzzles, or brain teasers to promote analytical thinking. Encourage students to design their own puzzles or games based on their current studies. Benefits: strengthens reasoning, planning, and collaboration while making learning enjoyable. Playing games and puzzles is a fun way to help kids learn, and it is my favorite way to teach because you don't have to deal with the groans, the complaining. Nobody's bummed about it. Everybody wants to learn. It's a great chance for parents to make learning exciting and effective for their children. This approach lets kids reach their full potential and develop a love for learning that goes way beyond school and academics. It's not about winning. It's about having fun. Wreck-It Ralph.